Hello everyone, we're back again. We're doing some more testing. Just thought I would try and see what's going on here. We need to do more with the tier 1 and tier 2, but I'm going to quickly see if there's a small thing that's been done to the tier 0 here. I don't know whether I've got the patch installed for it. I hope I have. Otherwise, this is going to be pretty embarrassing. Let's see. Ammo. Ammo is still 720. I don't know whether I've actually got it yet or whether it's gone through. I guess that's not the case. We'll assume that it's not gone through properly and just focus on the tier 1 and tier 2 if we can. So let's... because I don't want to be stuck messing around too long, because I actually want to get into the testing and really see what's gone on here. So let's do the same thing we normally do. We'll slap on some Crusader parts. Some new arms. And then we'll do that for legs. So we've got tier 2 parts here, and then we'll go weapons, right shoulder. So we'll... not tier 2, sorry. Tier 1. So we've got the meteors. The meteors are pretty cool. I'm just double checking here because we're testing out flamethrowers. These are the tier 1 flamethrowers. Yep. Okay, so let's see how they do. I'm going to use tier 1 in everything above mission 8, I think is when we first get it. So. Oh. Ah! Help! I appear to have disappeared. There we go. I'm back. This is fine. No big deal. Just did a backflip. I have no clue what's going on with me so far. Seemingly I'm freaking out. I have no idea why it's freaking me out here. Just give me a sec. Maybe I should just like completely reboot that. Oh, I just realized I can't because of the way that things are reacting at the moment. My camera's just decided it wants to totally freak out, so I guess I'm not in on this. Okay, so I guess I'm doing this without myself. I'll just hide. Oh, that was weird.
80% of the Air Force wiped out. Our front line shattered. The Middle East is basically lost
Okay,
to
so
the
the
Reds.
flamethrower tier 1 has a
Jake.
ton of ammo. That's the initial impression. It's just
Damn it.
so much ammo right now.
Command has been silent for too long.
They're probably panicking as much as the rest of us. Half of the world is in chaos.
So again, we're testing the
I
flamethrowers
saw the news reports.
just to see if we can get them in a good place right now.
Half of Europe is looking for a way to get off the continent.
And they don't even know how bad the situation really is.
Yeah, hello to everyone in
Did
chat.
you hear the one
Hey, audio.
when Fifth Mobile hanged himself?
Okay, so that,
Echo team,
you can
this is
sustain
Command.
that for
Do you copy?
quite a long time.
This is Echo 7, loud and clear. Go ahead, Major.
Chain of command has been restored. New battle line is being drawn through the western part of Turkey, and forces are regrouping in
Oh,
the
that completely
immediate area.
melts
The
enemies.
survivors of Battle Group Parmenian are to evacuate from the city of Rise. The Joint Force Fleet has moved
Is the
in to help
range
with
for
the
it?
evacuation. Echo 7, I need you to defend the position
The range
at
for
all
it's
costs.
longer.
Help get
Okay.
our units out, and we might all survive this yet.
And I
will
don't think
mark
it
the
heats up as
evacuation
much.
path on
Hang
the
on.
map.
Roger that, Command. Echo team will assist the evacuation.
One more thing. Allied reserve forces have been deployed around the exfiltration point, including
Okay.
new mechanized units. The higher-ups have deemed the severity of the situation serious enough to bring in cadets directly from the academy.
I'm just gonna wait
Patching in
for
Echo 9 now. Her name is
enemy
Sharon.
units to come in.
They haven't even graduated?
The higher-ups want as many mechs on the field as possible. If anything, we should see this as a compliment.
Right.
The only problem with this level is just it takes a while to start up, but
Echo 7? This
we're
is
good.
Cheryl. I mean, Echo 9. Reporting for duty, Captain.
Hey Sky.
I read you, Echo 9.
I'm just testing.
Pleasure to meet you. Form up on my wing and keep close.
Roger that, Captain.
I won't be talking about anything
Ethan,
other than
I'm on the
testing,
front.
so just
Look out
letting you
for
guys know.
She's young and inexperienced. I don't
If
think
you want me
she's
to talk
ready for
about
us.
other stuff, I'll probably do like
I
another stream
understand.
at some point or
After
whatever,
Jake,
just
there's
to
no chance I'm losing
go over
anyone
certain
else.
things that have been announced today.
Good to hear, Captain.
Mia, take
Yeah, could
Cheryl with
really-
you and defend the evacuation
Could really
point.
use you guys'
I'm gonna
feedback
stay
on
mobile
this
and deal
either
with
way.
the swarms along the evacuation path.
Roger, Captain.
Okay, so we are just
Babysitting
decimating
duty.
everything right now.
I'm sure you'll do fine, Mia.
Danger close! I repeat, danger close! Blue on blue! I
Okay,
repeat,
so
we
once
got
we've-
blue on blue artillery!
Once we've overheated,
I don't give a fuck! Just
Takes a
bomb
while
those
to
red
cool
fucks
down.
out of existence!
oh,
We're nearly at the docks!
we're doing pretty good. Oh my
Make
god.
sure my wife gets this letter. Please!
Oh, it's funny because normally I use the SDVs as kind of a cannon build, but it's making it feel a little bit underwhelming at the moment. 'Cause I'm trying to use them as a backup for when my flamethrowers are out. I do like the way that this damages enemies. Like it kind of makes sense for a tier 1 to do more damage than the tier 0. Keep overheating like mad here. That's fine, it kind of balances it out, so in combat situations like this, it's going to feel a little bit awkward, but that's what you want, is to have the player feel a little bit of anxiety while they're busy having fun messing around. Question is, how well does it do versus bosses? And how much difference is there between the T1 and T2? I'm getting absolutely shredded
Heavy
here right now.
damage
This is
sustained. The mech can't take
primarily
much more.
because of how I'm playing, but... 'cause normally I'd just take these out first. Oh, kill on now. Oh. And these things are dying so fast. I'd expect this of like a tier 2, just melting everything. Hey, ODST.
Echo 7. The
So for anyone who's not
supply
seen
will
these
around
yet,
the
these are
site.
the tier 1 flamethrowers. I'm just trying to get a good feel of them, because you can't really get a good idea of where something fits or how it can be tweaked within like the first 10
Echo
minutes.
7, be advised. We are
Normally it
getting
takes a
reports
little
about
while
new
and a couple of
mutation.
missions to actually get a good
Close on
feel for something.
Did I already mention something about situation being fucked up?
Focus fire on those fuckers then. This might actually help us if we can catch them near other Reds.
Drones show small group of the exploding type.
Okay,
moving
so we got-
closed. Stay cautious.
We got the
The mech
suicidal
can't take
enemies
much
here.
more of this.
I love the way we can seemingly just hold down one area there by doing that. That's pretty cool, just for hosing down enemies. Oh, I'm getting shot at it. Let's move towards them. I do like the way it kind of changes up gameplay. It makes it a little bit more tense. I say that because once you're in close trying to decimate everything, well then you can get surrounded. You know, so that's pretty cool. We established this last night.
Tank down! We got a tank
Oh.
down! One of the Abrams is destroyed.
Like it's a bit of risk and reward. You go close to do that extra damage. That's where it's risky. The reward is that you take out a load of enemies. Honestly, my initial impressions right now, apart from the massive ammo pool that it has, my initial impression is just, yeah, it feels kind of right now. That may change though. Really gotta see what this is like in some of the other missions, like 12.
They got it!
Because we already established that with the tier 0, 220 was a bit high for damage. So anything above that is going to do massive damage to larger enemies.
will back you up.
What I'm doing is I'm just offsetting my fire here with the cannons again. It is really good just to torch everything. I'm just trying to like strafe the line here.
Danger close! I repeat, danger close!
Captain, there's even more coming my way.
Stay calm, Echo 9. I'm coming back to help.
I can't deal with all of them.
You have to remember how much ammo I have for this when I start level, because
There's too many.
I honestly feel like I can't run out of ammo right now.
There's too many of them. This is a nightmare. I need help.
Keep your shit together, kid, and keep your gun spinning!
We can do this together, Cheryl. Believe me, I'm on my way.
Okay, not too bad. So when it's used like this, it isn't too bad, especially in these circumstances, because I'm able to offset the overheat with my other weapons. But I have taken significantly more damage when I go into certain areas to try and get closer. Okay, so yeah, if we sustain for long periods, that's when it overheats. That's fine, because I want that whole deal of getting hit while I'm overheated. That's what gets you a bit concerned and kind of keeps you a little bit more on your toes when it comes to watching your health bar. Oh, come on now. I'm also using a pretty stock build here, so it's not as if I've got any like special upgrades on or anything. It's literally just a change in parts to tier 1 parts, so I can actually move around just a little bit better and kind of use it as if I already had some tier 1 parts. Oh, getting hit from behind it. Okay. That's good. Like, in terms of satisfaction for just mowing through enemies, it's there.
You did it, Echo 7. Great job. Now get on board the ship and evacuate the area. Well done. You have saved a lot of lives today.
Let's try the next
Better
mission.
be complimentary champagne and a queen-size bed waiting for me.
I do like that mission. It's really fun. So, let's try, I think it was 12. It's either 12 or 14. That's going to be interesting. Or even the Hunter. That would be pretty cool to test out against the laser enemies. 12, I'm trying to remember. I think that was support. Let's just play it. Let's just play it and see what happens. Because this is where we should have tier 1 anyway, so experimenting between about mission 9 up until about mission 14, I think it is. And seeing how this kind of works in different scenarios kind of gives me an idea of whether it's overpowered or not.
Echo 7, this is Command. Halt your retreat immediately. I need you to stand your ground. Delay the swarm and buy time for the Bosphorus defense line to finish deploying stationary railguns over the shore. It's absolutely
ODST
paramount
says
that
be
you
right
keep
back.
your
No problem.
allies alive. We need at least 50% of the forces in your area to stay operational.
Okay, so we got the bigger enemies here
One more
again.
thing.
This is gonna be interesting seeing what happens to the flying
It
enemies.
contains important data about the laser-type enemy that attacked the Air Force. It is crucial for the coming stages of defense.
270 for damage up close. Okay.
The black box is contained within a Navy
I
Chinook.
think we established that
The
before,
GPS
but
coordinates of its last known position.
I am liking the heat build up here. I don't know whether it's quicker than the tier 0 or not.
Help immediately. Oh, get him off me! Get him off me!
Echo 7, we got a lock on their position. I'm marking it on your map. You can investigate if you want to, but don't neglect the main objective.
Roger that, Command. You got all of that, Mia?
Yeah. A damn scavenger hunt in the middle of the apocalypse while the
Just
greatest
burning everything
monster
here.
army ever amassed converges on our location. This day just keeps getting better.
That's the spirit. You two hang back and stick with the troops. I'll go look for the data.
It's not all bad news, Echo 7. The Navy will cover our retreat. Their rocket batteries are yours to command. Navy will commence a barrage of missiles against the enemy. Call them in if you're in a tight spot.
Solid copy. Command, this is Echo 7.
Nope.
I'm at the crash site. Stand
That
by for
moment where I'm
upload.
trying to block shots.
Roger that, Echo 7.
Okay,
Remain
it's fine.
within the
Oh,
perimeter of the chopper
thought I
as
was
long
gonna
as the
block some
upload is
shots
in
there,
progress.
but
Solid copy.
there we go. We can block shots.
Data received. Good job, Echo 7.
Yeah, that was the hard part.
Okay, let's
All
go.
we need to do is destroy the biggest army the world has ever seen.
So I'm gonna go straight into the enemy line in a moment and see what happens.
Making jokes.
Good work, but be advised, Echo 7. Satellite thermal scans suggest that the enemy forces advancing on your location are massive in size and numbers. Multiple Juggernaut-type enemies have been observed within the swarm. You will be seriously
Go
outnumbered
this
if
way.
you are caught here when the main forces arrive. I suggest that you comb through the area quickly and return the main forces.
No
Try
way.
attacking these guys
It's
a little
him.
bit. Oop.
It's Echo 7. That guy
Oh.
that saved our asses during the evacuation.
Okay.
The maniac who charged into the swarm to destroy the enemy artillery? Yeah.
That moment where I'm actively trying to do what they're on about on the radio.
You're catching quite the rep, Captain.
Okay.
Like a wartime celebrity almost.
It's not exactly the best against stuff in the air, but then again, why would you even do that? Trying to take out the tormentors here. Oh, whoa. Push the enemy's line too much there.
Friendly Bradley is down.
Honestly, this doesn't feel too bad so far. Like, it feels pretty natural compared to the tier 0. The question is, how much more damage is, or rather, how faster is the T2 gonna melt stuff? Because while this is fun, look at how much damage I've taken.
Mech status is critical. I need repairs.
Oop. I'm having to augment the overheat now. Because these are taking a little bit of a while to cool down, which isn't too bad. It's just the whole thing of I've then got to use my other weapons to offset
Fucking
that.
hell. They got one of our tanks.
I feel like these are good for a challenge, especially because you're obviously going to take way more damage in close range than you are at long. Like, definitely you still get the whole feeling of doing damage to the enemy, but they can do a lot of damage to you, especially if you're going in like I am and just trying to jump into the enemy line and then retreat when you need a little bit of health. It's a little bit more tense, which is what I actually like when the game's a little bit more tense. Let's just pepper the sky though with a load of napalm and see if I get anything. No. Love the way we're just covering everything in fire here right now.
The Bradley's on fire! They're all dead!
Nope.
So, what's the plan for dealing with these swarms?
For now, Europe is our foothold. The front line is at the north of Ukraine. It won't last. We all know that. We're just buying time.
We lost an Abrams. Fuck.
I'm still considering whether maybe this would be good as a crate style weapon, you know, a weapon that you can only pick up in hidden crates around levels and things. It might not seem fair at first, but considering how much damage some of the variants do, it would be pretty cool to adopt a similar idea to other franchises like Armored Core, where they hide the stronger weapons like this behind certain things, like normally hiding them in different parts of the levels. Then the problem is after that you're guaranteed to get them out of those boxes, so if you just need a second one, it's as simple as going back into that level and just picking them up. And then you don't really have the fun of waiting to see whether you get them out of the random drops, so it kind of works against itself at the same time.
Echo 7, the supply helicopter will soon arrive at the drop site.
I am totally out of ammo here.
They got one of the M1!
Captain, we need another barrage.
Firing.
I just need a barrage. It's about to come in. I hope it helps me out while I'm getting this ammo.
We've lost half of our forces. The
There we
mission
go.
is a failure.
Oh, it's a failure
I wonder
anyway.
how they're doing in the south. The African and Arab alliance.
Ah. At least we know we can have fun with it, but after like, what, 20 minutes worth of testing so far, it doesn't feel too overpowered. The idea being that I don't want it to be an end-all situation where we just use that and nothing else. Let's try the Hunter, because that's the one with the laser class. And then maybe Odessa, and then we've got to try everything from like Bosphorus through to Mission 20 with the Tier 2. But I think I might do Mission 20 twice, once with the Tier 1 and once with the Tier 2, because of me doing testing the other day with the Tier 0. Let's just see how much they do to lasers.
Good to have you back, Echo 7. Thanks to your efforts in recovering the data from the crashed Chinook, we have solid intel on the laser-type enemies and where they are nesting in the region. Conventional forces can't approach the area without...
Okay, so that's...
So we are sending you and Echo 6 in to clear
That's
out
good.
as many of them as possible to make the airspace safe for
They
the
do
Air
damage,
Force.
but just
Echo
not
6 has already been dispatched
modes to
a different
the lasers
location.
primarily, because
You're on
I
your own
think
on
it's
this
the health pool.
Pest control and extermination, huh? Like it.
Okay, so yeah, that's not bad versus them. That feels natural As in, like, you're not going to go through that level and just torch everything and be like, right, I'm done. Let's try... Bear in mind, I'm doing this with duels, so, like, single may feel totally different. I might try using single. Let's try Kiev Part 2 with the setup that I've got, in hopes that I can actually get up to the boss to see how much it does against it.
All right, Echo Squad. This is it.
Okay,
Our
let's
final
go.
hour is here. The fate of the continent and maybe the course of the entire war will be decided today. We need to crush the enemy's advance and stop them in their tracks. If we succeed, it will buy us at least a couple of months to prepare against another swarm. If we don't, Europe will be lost and millions of people will perish. This is do or die.
Again,
We're ready,
as a little
Command.
note, the only thing
Nothing's
I
gonna
do
get past
for
us.
the effects is definitely up
Come
the
already.
color and
My
brightness of
trigger
the light.
finger's getting itchy.
Be advised, Echo 7. Friendly units have been cut off on the other side of the river. Helping them could potentially support our efforts in defending the main line. I'll leave the rescue to your discretion.
Those poor soldiers.
I've called for every available unit in the region to be deployed to help us. We'll have to hold out until Battle Group Aurelian arrives.
Solid copy, Command. We'll make them bleed. Let's see if there'll be anything left
Okay,
for
so
the
that's
reinforcements when
everything
they get
saved
here.
at the end of the map,
One
so
last
now
thing.
let's go and join
the 2nd
everybody
Armored
else.
Brigade was obliterated in the last skirmish. We have no confirmation on what destroyed their units, but we have thermal scans indicating an anomaly at their position. Stay vigilant, Echo Squad.
Roger that.
Echo 7, this is Railgun Echelon Redeemer. We're standing by to fire at your command. Designate a target, and we'll obliterate it.
Oh shit. Any longer and I don't think we would have made it. Thank you, sir.
Glad to see you're still in one piece. Fall back to the line, soldier.
Yes, sir.
That was too close.
Okay, so that's
Thank you, sir.
them decimated.
Don't
Let's
mention
see.
it.
I
Now get out of
think
here.
there's some
It's gonna get a
mortar
lot
enemies
worse.
over here.
Thanks, Echo 7. Thought we were done for.
Head back to the line. I'll cover your retreat.
Apparently not. Apparently I'm just getting that mistaken.
I see them! I see them! They're coming!
All right, get ready.
Let them come.
Oh, now they're coming in.
Understood. New target acquired.
I wonder, can the railguns target over here? Oh, they can.
New target for the railgun battery acquired.
Okay, let's try and torch this area as much as you can. Okay, I can't do anything back here at the moment.
The Bradley's fucked.
Hey,
It's
ODST.
down.
You didn't miss out on too much. The tier
Fuck,
1s don't
I
seem
need
bad.
repairs.
Just a case of seeing what happens with the final boss, I think. Oh. If I can get to him. Oh, come on out. Where's money? I'm trying to see where there's health. I know there's some next to the helipad, but kind of getting shredded whenever I go for the helipad right now. No, let's just go. Honestly, don't know audio. Again, I'm not going to really talk too much about that kind of stuff in this. I'm primarily doing testing. I'll do like other videos or other streams and stuff to respond to that kind of questioning. I just want to keep this primarily on business at the moment. No offense, of course. Nope. Getting absolutely torched here. Can we just...
Supply helicopter is on the way. It will reach nearest drop zone shortly.
Let's just see about going over here and getting some ammo. Oh, so it has 900? And 900 to start with in terms of ammo. Oof. I thought 720 was a lot of ammo.
Bradley's fucked. It's down.
Let's do this so we've always got one firing. Just realised how little health I'm on.
Damn, I need a repair kit.
And I'm thinking, just wondering.
They got one of our
Oh, it's
tanks.
entered the radar, alright.
Command, we need reinforcements
I'll at least
now,
answer
or
that,
we
you
risk
know.
being overrun.
I figure after testing I'll do like a
Armored
bunch of
brigade
videos
dispatched. En route
to
your
address
position.
things. Or at least one video addressing stuff. Because there's been like what, there's been that announcement and there's the backlog episode today, which wasn't amazing. Maybe I should watch it through again. Today's been a bit kind of weird for me. Come on now. Like, it's hard with this sort of setup, but it's doable. I just need to get to the boss. I suppose it doesn't really matter how I get to the boss. As long as I can get to him and not get completely nuked by all of the enemies that morph at me. Okay. I'm actually using the meteor more than the flamethrowers at the moment, just so I've got something to fall back onto. The more you play, I see you play this, the more I want another Armored Core game to be made already. Yeah, it's... The thing is, I like this. I obviously like it a lot, it's just, it's definitely not an Armored Core game. It's more, you know, EDF with little bits of Armored Core and front mission sprinkled throughout. But yeah, I've done like a full playthrough of it and everything, so... If nobody's seen those, then go and check them out, because they're really fun. And I think it's after this encounter here is where we get the boss coming out. And then we can test out the flamethrowers and see how much damage they do to him. Oh. Cool thing about this is I know a lot of people that got and enjoyed the game. It's really fun. I'm just glad it's having the success that it has had.
Fuck, we lost the tank!
Melting larger enemies by just concentrating the fire with both of these weapons. I actually do like this build, sort of crap clawing the controller and then just sat here laying into things with both weapons. When I get to the boss, I'm going to exclusively use just the flamethrowers. So, then we can figure out how much damage we actually do to them and whether it's a little bit too much. But at the moment, I actually don't feel that this is too bad. I like the new Muv game that's in development, but the thing is, like, the new Muv game looks like just a mobile game, and it looks kind of slow-paced. And this is kind of what I wanted out of a Muv game, you know, especially because it's inspired by it. So, no, if they made a Muv game like this, as in, like, the speed and the movement and everything, I feel like that would benefit it a lot more than kind of just being sort of what looks like a mobile port that doesn't really look like it moves fast or anything. Whereas the movement in this is nice and fluid. Like everything feels like it flows unless you hit like a small lip of geometry. But even then it's kind of rare. Or at least it has been for me for a while.
Echo 7, the supply helicopter will soon arrive at the
EDF, gotta
site.
get the new one, keep the streak going to get all the EDF games. Yeah. Like the dev was inspired mainly by EDF. I think a little bit of Ace Combat as well. There's some other things thrown in. But either way, I do enjoy playing this. There's something satisfying about just coming into play a little bit every now and again, and then just watching the carnage unfold. Try taking out these enemies before they hit us here. Try going into first person.
Tank down! We got a tank down! One of the
Okay, we're getting hit
destroyed.
quite a lot here right now. Nothing behind me, so that's not bad. Say that, and then there's one of those shrimp things right in my thrusters. There we go.
Command,
Yeah.
we need backup ASAP.
So-
Punching through our lines. Where the hell is Battle Group Aurelian?
Up until now,
They're
the
engaged with
T1
the enemy,
feels
2
pretty
clicks from
natural,
our position.
as
Keep
in,
holding the line.
you know, how it feels
Wait,
compared
alert.
to the
Be advised, Echo
T0.
Squad. The anomaly is heading towards your position.
It's just me though.
Scans are inconclusive.
Like, it's always good getting other
Whatever it
feedback
is,
from
it's
people.
moving fast. This is unlike anything we've ever seen
I don't know, what do you
before.
guys feel
Get
like
ready.
a flamethrower's position should be in a video
What's
game?
happening?
Because the way that I've been going with the
I don't know.
balancing for
Brace
this is
yourselves.
just,
This might be
it
bad.
should do a lot of damage
Guys, see
versus
that?
smaller enemies.
Gerald, it's
And on
heading your
larger
way.
ones, it should take a little bit longer to do damage to them.
Gerald, look out!
The thing is, obviously, with this being an upgrade of the standard flamethrower, this should do more damage, and as a result, will kill a lot of other things a little bit easier.
Cheryl, are you okay? Respond.
Ethan, it's coming right for you!
I'll take
Here's
care of
the
this.
boss.
Go check on Cheryl. She might still be alive.
Roger that!
Boss is gonna be like around here at the
Yeah.
moment.
We fried the grid again.
There he
The
is.
railguns are down. We'll try to fix it ASAP.
Damn it.
Well, let's
Talk about
see.
perfect timing.
He's already
All
taken
allied
damage?
units,
What?
Focus your fire on the other
That
monsters.
might be from the
I'll take
tanks.
this ugly bastard myself.
Okay, so
Kick
this
his
is
ass, Ethan!
this is actually good so far. It's not
This can't be
too
the
powerful,
night,
but it's
man.
definitely downing him. Hang on. Somebody mentioned the other day about potentially giving him homing missiles. That'd be pretty cool, having him shoot them out the back for like another attack or something instead of just having him be like this. Oh. I'm actually having to use other weapons
Mech
to feel
status
like...
is critical. I need repair.
Yeah, there we go. Flamethrowers and mechs are a weird combo. Yeah, it's not something you always see, but I mean, it is pretty fun to use them. So the tier 1s don't feel bad right now. In the scenarios that I've tried them out over the past 40 minutes, they don't feel bad. That's the tier 1 specifically. I'm just going to quickly check out the tier 0. I said I wouldn't, but I just want to see because the stats might be different to what is actually going on, because I recommended a tweak for him recently and I don't know whether the game has updated since or not. but the stats in the menu don't reflect what was told to me in the patch notes. So I'm just going to quickly go on here, and then we'll do the T2s. Flamethrowers, in my opinion, should vaporize weak enemies, but do a decent chunk of damage against larger ones. Yeah. I feel like that's where the T1 sits at the moment. It's better than the original, because the original does a massive chunk of damage anyway, or it used to. Let's see what it does compared to what its on-screen counterpart stats say. So it still does 220.
We are short on time, so I'll make
So I
this
don't
quick.
think
The
that's
NATO
been
forces around
changed,
the city are
especially because
currently-
the amount of ammo that I've got there. So it's possible that I might need to still patch this. Right, let's try the tier 2 weapons. Because tier 2 are meant to be the best weapons in the game. The idea for progression is that you take the weapons and slowly upgrade them. So for instance, with tier 0, normally you balance it so that they're fun to use, but there's something wrong with them, and by that I mean there's some downside to using the weapon. So it's either it overheats fast, it's not as accurate, it might weigh a lot, its rate of fire might be lower, you know, it might take longer to cool down from overheating. There's different ways that you can go about balancing it, but generally it tends to be that there's more negatives with a tier 0, and then tier 1 is supposed to be that slight upgrade where everything slowly gets a little bit better. You get to see maybe either a little bit more damage or a little bit more range on it. Maybe the rate of fire is increased compared to previous versions, and then tier 2 is meant to feel like the almost perfect version. There's still something there to kind of balance it out a little bit, but the idea with a tier 2 is that you're meant to feel more of a powerhouse and feel like you can do more damage. It's supposed to be the more satisfying end game sort of weapon, and the campaign balances that by only giving you like tier 1 at the beginning within the first 8 missions, I think it is. Then no, sorry, tier 0 in the first 8 missions, then tier 1 from 8 to 13, I think, and then tier 2 is from 14 onwards, if I remember rightly. So for instance, we'll do fire support here. Use a flamer mech not to damage but to stagger. Oh god, yeah, I remember the flamethrowers on EDF. They're pretty cool. You just keep the flamer held down. It doesn't do massive amounts of damage, but it's fun to use. If I remember rightly as well, the mech is offset with 2 cannons and 2 flamethrowers to make up for the flamethrowers' lack of damage.
27 in Sector Charlie. The last troops being evacuated to the other side of the Bosphorus Sea needs cover.
So this
Protect them
should
until the
wreck
hovercrafts
everything
get
now,
here to pick them up.
and
We
should
cannot
do it a
afford losing
significant
more
chunk
than
of damage to
50%
larger
friendly
enemies.
troops
I didn't pay attention to how much
there. Again,
ammo we
the
started
railgun
with there.
battery is at your disposal.
This is Echo 7. Copy, Command. They get a little delayed. Looks like the swarms are spreading beyond our initial estimates. I'll be at the objective shortly.
Roger that, Echo 7. Keep them safe.
The unique thing about this flamethrower, or the flamethrowers in this, is you can paint the floor and watch the enemy walk into the fire and then get burned for a little bit.
There's no way. These things are
Which is
straight
pretty
out
cool.
of hell. What are we gonna do? What the fuck are we gonna do?
This is Echo 7. I'm inbound and will provide fire support shortly.
Echo 7? The Echo 7? Holy shit. Oh, might actually stand a chance then.
I love how the Battletech series did flamethrowers. It really doesn't translate into games like EDF or
Echo
Mecha
7.
Knights. Plus
This is
flamethrowers
Bosphorus
shouldn't do
railgun battery.
great
Standing
for
by to unleash hellfire on
large.
the enemy. Contact us on this
This is
frequency
ODST.
if you need our artillery.
Roger that, Command.
It'd be cool, actually, to kind of have a distinction, you know, because we were on about last night about pressure and power with flames and having them sound different. Thinking now it'd be cool to have the tier 2 flamers be slightly different, have them, if possible, have blue flames rather than the red ones, you know, to sort of convey that intensity.
I'll provide covering fire from here. Echo
That
7
would be
out.
really cool as a way
Right
to
on
kind of
time.
make it make a little bit more sense.
Wave of Reds approaching your position. You will have an obvious
Don't know what you guys think about that,
advantage
but
by
I've
staying
seen
on
that
the
in
hill and
older
designating
video
targets
games
for
like
the
Duke
artillery
Nukem,
from there. But
and that
feel free
was
to
that was
engage
pretty
at
fun
close
to see
range if
as
you think
an
the
upgrade for the
situation calls for
flamethrower.
it.
So maybe have like the tier 1 and tier
Understood,
0
Commander.
as like
Out.
orange flames like this,
I see them.
and then
They're
just
here. Get ready.
make the tier 2 blue flames. Oh, the tier 2
Jesus,
flamethrowers.
there's so
These
many
are the
of
tier 2 flamethrowers that I'm using
Stand your
now.
ground, soldier. We can hold them off.
Yes, sir.
The idea being that I should be able to just paint massive areas and then just watch everything die. I feel like these may overheat a little bit too fast, but I'm not too sure. I agree with the bluish flame for the tier 1. The tier 1 is the weaker version, the idea being that the blue flame is the strongest version. You know, to sort of show off that increase in power. Poison flame combo, very deadly. There we go. I feel like these overheat a little bit too fast for what they are. Like, this is meant to be a better version, so it shouldn't overheat too fast. Just fast enough, really. I felt like the tier 1 had more of a sustain to it. You know, you could, and by sustain what I mean is you can hold an area for longer periods, or you can just hold down the triggers for longer. That's what it felt like. So when I'm sat here, I'm thinking to myself, how long can I sustain fire before I have to retreat? And I don't know whether it's my initial impression, but the tier 1 seemed to go on forever compared to this. This has like the damage of a tier 2, with the flame problems of the tier 0 by the look of it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check in and see what the stats are for this, or maybe check the tier 1 out again. Because again, this is just initial impressions, getting into this mission with them and just be like, okay, let's go, let's see what they're like. Oh, not T1, I meant T2, so it's ODST. I have a soft spot for having a slight whistle with the flamethrower. What, you mean like the strength of the gas coming out making that whistle? Because that makes sense. You know, it's like a slight hiss of gas coming out of it. I did mention last night that the audio could be raised a little bit because it's hard to hear it firing, but people were actually saying, with good reason, that, you know, flamethrowers really don't have a loud sound to them. But it depends on the amount of pressure in the gas, so I'm having to offset my shots here with the cannons to kind of manage things. That's not bad. It means I'm not totally reliant on these things.
I heard that Ukraine had almost fallen. Nearly everyone died out there. The swarm moving through the Ukraine is the biggest swarm of all. Even bigger than the one that's about to attack Bosphorus Strait. Lord have mercy. How will we ever overcome this madness?
Nope. Okay, so we've got these enemies over here now. A lot of these are smaller enemies. What I'll do is, I'm going to need to do Bosphorus after this and just see how Bosphorus does. Because Bosphorus is pretty hard. Maybe Odessa. And then we'll do the last boss again. Yeah, I think the T1 and T2 could use a little bit of swapping around here. And by that I mean some of the ways that they work, or at least the impression that they're giving me at the moment. Let's just melt everything here. So they're slowly cooling down. So that's practically the end of that mission now, so let's do exit. And here I thought the flamethrowers had the sound of a roaring creature. No, they have that. I don't know whether that was a joke or not. I'm not reading it as a joke at the moment. I'm genuinely reading it as like, you know, curiosity. Like, seriously, I definitely think there needs to be that sort of a little bit more of an aggressive punch to the sounds for them, because they don't, to me, they sound a little bit silent. You know, I'm like hearing everything else, and I want to hear that injection of gas hitting fire, and then just whoosh, and you're hearing that sort of massive fireball coming out the front. That's what I want to hear, but it's not conveying that right now, so it doesn't come across as aggressive to me. It's just kind of just going or whatever, you know. Guess that's only for movies. I want it to sound, you know, like that. Hey Damon, I've been alright, you know. Just doing a little bit of work at the moment. But yeah, I feel like sometimes you can actively get away with doing that sort of cinematic thing where, you know, flamethrowers in cinema always sound like a dragon or whatever. I think in video games you can kind of get away with that a little bit because of the way that everything, you know, sort of blurs between media. Like, they always say video games and movies are kind of similar to each other in terms of reception and stuff, so I wouldn't be against that kind of depiction of a flamethrower.
Your objective is to clear
Here's where I go and research like a load of flamethrowers after the stream just to see whether anybody else has done something similar. Because automatically I'm thinking maybe the flamethrower from Alien Isolation.
Roger that, Command.
I'm trying to remember what it sounds like now. All I remember was it was really good to use.
We need help in Sector Delta. We're surrounded. Our lieutenant is KIA. We need an extraction now.
Sergeant Johannes, this is Echo 7. Dig in and hold your position. We'll be moving to assist you soon.
Flamethrower should sound more realistic, in my opinion. Yeah, it's like I said before, I think it does need that aggressiveness to it. Just by that I mean you can get that pretty easy just by upping the volume a little bit. I need that sound of like fuel injection or just that loud kind of sound. I don't know how to. I'm just doing random sounds here to try and convey the sound when it comes out, like, and just torches everything. It's a shame I don't have my avatar on screen, because it'd be pretty funny just to see him trying to do sound effects. Yeah, normally easier fixes for sounds are by ramping up the, well, either doing something to the pitch or the volume. This isn't too bad at the moment. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but these like the strongest flamethrowers. And I feel like they're useful, yeah. They're not too useful, but they're useful enough. The problem that I'm having with these at the moment is definitely the overheat. I feel like the tier 2 shouldn't have a quick overheat and should have a decent amount of ammo in it. It seems like the tier 1 and tier 2 might be the other way around. I'm going to just try and torch this area and then we'll try using the tier 1 and see whether I'm just imagining stuff. Because when you test it for a while, things can get a little bit muddy in terms of opinions and what you remember. Especially considering my memory's been pretty bad for a while now, so I figure I need a little quick refresher even though I've just spent half an hour with them. It really says a lot about how bad my memory is. You know, going between two weapons that are kind of similar but feel a little bit different. I figure I need a little bit of a refresher just to notice stuff. And of course, for anybody that's watching, you can help me keep track of this because I need to remember things a little bit easier. But at the moment, I am having fun with the flamethrowers. That's the main thing. I'm just watching things burn, and watching the health go down so fast is great. The problem is that I seem to be overheating every 2 seconds. And I wouldn't expect that from one of the better, or rather one of the better weapon classes in the game. This is a World War II era flamethrower. Flamethrower should sound loud, like a spray can.
Shit, they took out the
Yeah,
Abrams.
yeah. Like at the moment, can you hear that? Can you guys hear that? I don't know. I've not got the sound turned up too loud, but I'll shut up for a second, see if you can hear it compared to everything else. Like I can hear it, but it just sounds kind of weak, you know. It sounds like a very windy day. It is pretty windy because we're at the port.
Command, this is Echo 7. We're inside Area Bravo. We'll clear it of all enemies. Out.
Yeah, I don't know whether you guys could hear that though. Yeah, on my end, I mean, what's my volume on? Okay, so my volume's on like 50%. I don't know whether it's just me or my bad hearing. And I know I have the sound slightly lower so that you guys can hear me over the top of testing. But honestly, I think it needs just a little bit more ramping up. There are two types of mechas that you can love, the Armored Core style or the Gundam type. I think it's three really, because like for instance, I wouldn't lump Mech Warrior style stuff in with like Armored Core. I'd say like Mech Warrior, then Armored Core, and then Gundam, although Gundam and... The problem with that is that... This feels good, by the way. I'm going to be completing that mission with the tier 2, so I'll try this versus the boss. When it comes down to like Armored Core and Gundam, they kind of blur the lines a little bit, and the reason why I say that is because Kawamori, one of the guys that has designed a lot of mecha over the years, he's practically been in almost every mecha show designing the mechanical stuff, that I can remember at least. He's worked on a lot of both Gundam and other mech shows, and he kind of brings the same sort of style across wherever he goes. So it's kind of awkward, and that's why I say the line kind of blurs a little bit. I'm gonna bring the grenade launchers again. I absolutely love these things for... Actually, no. Let's use Corinth. Corinths are pretty good. Might be waffling on right now. I really don't want to be waffling, but... Let's see how this does in... Kiev. And then the super robot, it's like Gurren Lagann. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, Kawamori, man, he's been everywhere. Been everywhere and had his hand in everything, so he brings a lot of the similar style across the different things. You see that in quite a lot of his designs.
Alright, Echo Squad. This is it. Our final hour is here. The fate of the continent and maybe the course of the entire war will be
Okay, so the
decided
idea for this
today.
one is I'm going to try
We need
mission
to
20
crush the
versus the
enemy's
boss and
advance
see how
and
quick the
stop them
boss
in their
melts.
tracks. If we succeed,
And then
it will
we'll go
buy us
back
at
to
least
the
a
tier
couple of
1 and
months to
try and
prepare
refresh
against
my
another
memory.
swarm.
And then we'll
If we
make
don't,
notes.
Europe will be lost, and millions of people will perish. This is do or die.
We're ready, Command. Nothing's gonna get past us.
Let them come already. My trigger finger's getting itchy.
Be
Can't
advised,
wait till
Echo
something
7,
comes next to me,
friendly
because I
units
can
have
just
been
delete
cut
it
off
with
on the
these
other side of the
howitzers.
river. Helping them could potentially support our efforts in defending the main line. I'll leave the rescue to your discretion.
It's going to be fun seeing what everybody
Those
else
poor
thinks of the
soldiers.
flamethrower when they get their hands on it, but the
I've called
idea
for
is
every
just not to
available
have
unit
it
in the
feel
region to be deployed to
bad,
help
you know,
us.
for the
We'll have
player
to
when they
hold out
first
until
get it.
Battle Group Aurelian arrives.
Because the problem with
Solid copy,
balancing
Command. We'll make him bleed.
is trying to
Let's see if
make
there'll
it
be
so that the
anything
player
left for
both
the
enjoys
reinforcements when
it,
they
but
get here.
still gets
One
that kind of
last
like
thing.
horror
The
feeling
second
out of the
Armored
game, which
Brigade
is
was
what it is.
obliterated in the last
It's a mech
skirmish.
game mixed
We
with a
have no
horror game.
confirmation on what destroyed
It's just
those
a lot of
units, but we
people
have
seem to
thermal
think
scans
it's more Armored
indicating an
Core, you know, than
anomaly at
anything
their
else.
position. Stay vigilant, Echo Squad.
I'm not sure how many
Roger
people
that.
actually get the horror theme in this, you know, like
Echo
whether they
7,
feel
this is
anything or not,
Railgun
because a lot of
Echelon
people complain
Redeemer. We're standing
seem
by
to have
fire
complained
for command.
about,
Designated
you know, it being
target,
too easy.
we'll obliterate it.
It's kind of sad to see that,
shit.
but
Any longer, and I don't
hopefully,
think we would have made
hopefully
it.
we can get that
Thank you,
balance
sir.
right.
Glad to see you're still in one piece. Fall back to the line, soldier.
Yes, sir.
That was too close. Thank you, sir.
Don't mention it. Now get out of here. It's gonna get a lot worse.
Thanks, Echo 7. Thought we were done for.
Head back to the line. I'll cover your retreat.
So we've got everybody from over there. Now we're just waiting for the heavier enemies to spawn in so we can take them out and then make it a little bit easier on me.
I see them! They're coming!
All right, get ready.
Let them come!
This is where it gets a little bit laggy. Okay, so we've taken out their spawn there. Didn't fire high enough. God, I love this thing just because of the damage on it. It's not the best weapon in the game, by far, but it is fun.
Mech
Oh,
status
whoa,
is
whoa,
critical.
whoa.
I need repairs.
Can I just get over here, please? Oh! Okay. I may have misjudged this, and I might end up dead. Oh, taking damage. This is how the game should naturally feel. Oh. Oh. The game should naturally feel like you're having trouble there. You know. The idea being that you want to feel like you're on edge all the time to kind of convey that sense of horror and scariness. But yeah, I definitely got wrecked there. That's because I pushed too much in early as well and then got absolutely wrecked because the weapon itself packs one hell of a punch and sounds amazing. But I can't fire it rapidly, so let's try... I'm either going to default to the M122s again or we'll do something else. Let's try... People say like, oh, why don't you just use the Hayashida because it's the meta sort of weapon. But I don't like using meta weapons all that much. I prefer a little bit of a challenge. If I wanted to go crazy and lazy, I could just do the auto turrets. Well, let's do that. Because auto turrets are actually really fun. Especially the tier 2 versions. I'm actually wondering whether it'd be funny to have automated vertical missiles. Be pretty crazy. There's just some crazy ideas you can come up with, you know, for new weapons. Problem is, every time you introduce a new weapon, you potentially upset the sandbox, so you've got to do a lot of testing to make sure it doesn't completely destroy everything that you've already done.
All right,
Is there anything
Echo
like the Hammer
Squad,
of Dawn? There's
Our final hour is
the
here.
thermobaric
The fate of the
warheads,
continent and maybe the course
or
of
there's
the
the
entire war
railguns,
will
but
be
there's
decided
nothing.
today. We need
There's
to crush
nothing
the
like
enemy's advance
space
and
lasers
stop
or
them in
anything
their
like that.
tracks. If
The only
we
thing you've
succeed,
got is
it
the
will buy us at
Ragnarok,
least
which
a
is
couple
only
of
in one
months to
mission.
prepare against another
It's basically
squad.
just a very
If we
large
don't,
cannon that
Europe will
rapid
be
fires
lost, and
beams.
millions of people will perish. This is do or die.
We're ready, Command. Nothing's gonna get past us.
Let them come already. My
Love these
trigger
buildings with like all the
finger's
smoke
getting
coming out of them and everything. That's really cool.
Be advised, Echo 7. Friendly units have been cut off on the other side of the river. Helping them could potentially support our efforts in defending the main line. I'll
Like,
leave
I
the
normally
rescue
keep
to your discretion.
Track of all the comments on Steam and everything about this game, and I get kind of
I've
upset
called for
about
every
the ones where they're like,
available
oh, the
unit in
AI
region
does
to be deployed
nothing,
to
and,
help us. We'll have
you
to
know,
hold out
they
until
can't
Battle
kill
Group
anything
Aurelian
and things like that,
arrives.
because you do actually see
Solid
that
copy, Command.
if you
We'll
let
make
them
it
actually do
bleed.
the job.
Let's see if there'll be anything
The
left
thing is,
for
I
the
think everybody's
reinforcements
just
when
too
they get
damn
here.
good at killing, and they
One
don't
last
actually
thing.
get to see
the
them do
2nd
their
Armored
job.
Brigade was obliterated in the last skirmish. We have no confirmation on what destroyed their units, but we
Are there any
have thermal
chainsaws?
scans
No, there are no
indicating an
melee
anomaly
weapons.
at their position. Stay vigilant, Echo Squad.
Roger that.
Echo 7, this is Railgun Echelon Redeemer. We're standing by to fire at your command. Designate a target, and we'll obliterate it.
Oh shit. Any longer and I don't think we would have made it.
Yeah, I do
Thank
more
you,
here
sir.
than an EDF.
Glad to see you're still in one piece.
think so.
Fall back to the line, soldier.
Like, I like the way that in Mission
Yes,
2,
sir.
like, the choppers come in and decimate a load of enemies,
That
and I
was
like
too
the way that
close.
these tanks are just
Thank you,
shooting
sir.
at everything and
Don't mention
anything.
it. Now get out of
You
here.
got support
It's gonna get a
choppers
lot
that will
worse.
come in and actively shoot at
Thanks, Echo 7.
enemies.
Thought we would
You got the railguns that you're actually in
Head back to the
control
line.
of.
I'll cover your
The enemy
retreat.
mechs do actually shoot at stuff, and even though you don't see them do massive amounts of damage because they've got like standard rifles and stuff, they still do things.
Let 'em come.
It's like I actually want to have an update at some point that changes the allied mechs so they're actually fulfilling the role that they're meant to. Because like Jake's meant to be the sniper, Mia's more like a sort of mid to close range, Cheryl's the newbie. You know, I'd love to have them have those roles finally, and then they'd probably perform better with the weapons that they were intended to have as well. Oh, Damon's comment got censored there. EDF AI just eat damage. Most people understand that making a game is hard. Most people just play the game, or most people play games that have multi-million pounds spent on them with a dev team of hundreds of people working on it, and don't think about that. Yeah, I think it's for that instant satisfaction that the player wants immediately. You know, if this better work. The thing is, though, it's kind of awkward because I can and can't blame the end user or the people that play it, you know, because on one end you think, okay, they're just not paying attention, or they're not allowing the game to do what it wants, or maybe they're just too good at it. Maybe they don't stop and look at the things going on around them as much because they're too busy killing things, and that's fun because it means they're enjoying the game. But on the other hand, I can't help but feel like AAA games have definitely pushed them into that kind of way of thinking of, yeah, everything has to work day one and be perfect because of how many games have come out and are broken. You know, because like for instance, the obvious big one would be Cyberpunk. You know, everyone was hyped up about that, thinking, oh, it's gonna work day one, and it was a complete mess. You know, but the small satisfaction that you get out of this, or at least, you know, like for the dev, I imagine anyway, the small satisfaction you would get is seeing those players that do actually take an interest in that kind of thing and do actually see that happening. You know, it's like we just saw a tank kill an AI there.
Fucking hell! They got one of our tanks!
Like, compared to what people rant on about, because they just like ranting online. I'm watching a lot of stuff happen here, and a lot of enemies are getting killed by things that I'm not even doing. Oh.
Shit! The IMV is down! They took out the Bradley!
Like, we see helicopters come over at some points, or bombers come over, and they destroy enemies as well. I love that kind of stuff. I love seeing that kind of stuff, because it's just fun. It's fun actually seeing other people do things in games, so it conveys that sense of, yeah, you're on a larger battlefield, yeah.
Railguns are ready to acquire a new target.
That's one of the other reasons why I actually like the game, because you've got all this other stuff going on, meanwhile you're busy trying to kill everything. Some more people are leaving comments saying, oh, the AI is terrible, or, you know, they don't do much, or they don't kill anything. It's like, have you actually stopped to watch them do this? Oh. I did love the helicopter bit at the end of mission 2. Yes, yes. There's a dwindling amount of quality control in AAA titles. I'm gonna go against that and say it's... Actually, no. Because it depends on how you approach the subject. Like, honestly, I feel, especially with Cyberpunk, that it's more the higher-ups in charge that want the money then and there. And we know a lot of companies like that, like EA and Activision. They just want the money then and there.
Echo 7, the supply helicopter will soon
The
arrive
one
at the
thing
drop
to
site.
support that would be the thing that I saw about Resident Evil, or Resident Evil 8. They didn't know where to go with that development. And then next moment the test team come out of nowhere and give them advice and say, look, this needs to be done or whatever. And it's not so much on the testers in that case, it's just the higher-ups not understanding or not kind of quite grasping the idea of where they want to take the game or what they want to do with it, and the next minute, people that actually enjoy playing the game, even if they are testers, turn around and go, no, this is what you need to do with it, this is fun. You know. So I definitely think it's a little bit of intent. I never sort of go against the test teams for this kind of thing. normally I side with the whole argument of it's normally the company higher ups or somebody else from what I've seen on like other videos at least that seems to be pushing that whole thing of we need the game out the door like right now. Like another one to support that would be Anthem. You know, the whole deal with Anthem of, oh, we didn't know what the game was going to be until we actually showed a trailer off of it and then we started making the game. It's like, wait, what?
Bradley is down. We lost the IFV.
Are the tanks based on anything in real life, or are they science fiction based? I think they're based off stuff in real life. I think they're supposed to be, like they say, the M1 Abrams, which I think is a US battle tank, if I remember rightly. Somebody can probably correct me there.
Tank down! We lost the tank!
Well, the way I've not really had to do much because of the missile launches at the moment. You know, the missile launches are pretty much the lazy way to go on this. But I do love them. Primarily because it allows you to just focus on firing your standard weapons on your arms. And just focus on moving as well. Like, some people will turn around and be like, oh, the missile launchers and some of the automated turrets are crap because of how much damage they do. It's like, yeah, but do you focus more on damage, or how much enjoyment you're having by moving around the battlefield and controlling it with ease? I don't know. It's like the burst fire weapons. Burst fire weapons are specifically designed in this to fire at a certain rate to both feel satisfying, but not have the player crab clawing the controller and getting hand cramp all the time. You know, so it's in favor of player comfort rather than anything else. That's why I like this game. It works in favor of the player, but just certain people just go off damage values.
They got one of the Bradleys!
Love the way we can see Mia here chipping in with a rifle. Oh no, it's not Mia, it's Cheryl. Come on, Cheryl, kill something. She's having a bit of a hard time tracking some of these enemies.
Fuck, we lost the tank!
I'd actually love that to be one of the next updates after this. Just a, not an AI update of sorts, but just an allied unit update for the mechs. Even if they don't follow the player, you know, if they're just standing stationary, at least giving them different parts, making them more unique and having their own colour schemes would make them stand out and be really cool. Kind of remind me of like your average mecha show, kind of like Love or whatever, where they have different units, or like Albino Zero, where you have the training unit.
Punching through our lines. Where the hell is Battle Group Aurelian?
They're engaged with the enemy, 2 clicks from our position. Keep holding the line. Wait, alert. Be advised, Echo Squad. The anomaly
Oh
is
crap, I
heading
didn't
towards
save
your
my energy.
position. Scans are inconclusive. Whatever it is, it's moving fast.
Didn't save my energy
This is
and the
unlike
boss is
anything
here.
we've ever seen before.
Come on.
Get ready.
What's happening?
I don't know. Brace yourselves. This might be bad.
Guys, see that? Cheryl, it's heading your way!
I think the one
Cheryl, look out!
the one instance where you can mix like old technology and mecha that I've seen done really well is Full Metal Panic.
What the fuck
And
is
that's
that
explained with
Cheryl,
the
are you
technology
okay?
advancements that they have in that.
Ethan, it's coming right for you!
Okay,
I'll
so
take
the
care
last
of this.
boss is
Go check on
melting,
Cheryl.
but
She
I
might
can't
still
tell
be
whether it's to
alive.
my turrets or not.
Roger that!
Damn it. We fried the grid again. The railguns are down. We'll try to fix it ASAP.
Damn it. Talk about perfect timing.
Okay, so
All
we are
allied unit.
melting it, just not massively there.
This can't be real. This can't be real. This is a nightmare.
Okay, so T2, I feel like at the moment it's in a good place, but it needs more sustain. So give me a sec. I need to get a notepad here. Okay. Doing this the old-fashioned way with a notepad. So we're going to note this down first, so you won't see me writing this, but T1. Let's just quickly refresh on this. T2 definitely has too much overheat, so just note these down here. I'm just doing them as like bullet points. Too much. Too much overheat. Blue flame? Question mark. Right, and then I think it has the most range as well. It does 310 to damage compared to the 270. Maybe we can up the damage a little bit, because it felt a tiny bit weak, so maybe damage increase to, let's think, 310 felt a bit weak, but I don't want to go too overpowered with it. Maybe try 340. See whether 340 is okay. Tier 1. Let's do Tier 1 again, refresh my memory here. We'll do it quickly on let's see, we don't need a massive level here, we'll just do it on a raid or something. Servan raid will do. I can see where you're coming from, but I mean, modern tanks still work well with Mecha Knights. Yeah. All I was saying was, like, in terms of explaining it in Mecha Knights, it kind of works, or at least I imagine it kind of works in a similar manner, you know. Like in Full Metal Panic, they explain mechas as being years ahead because of black technology that's mysterious and everything. And that's fair enough, it kind of explains why there's the clash in the two styles, you know, between mechs being on the same battlefield as, like, Chinooks and Abrams and stuff. With this, I feel like the way that they could explain it in the story is they're only just introducing mechs as, like, a prototype thing now. And that's why you're starting to see them on the battlefield with tanks and everything else.
Got it.
Okay, that feels massive. Hang on, I need to... Can we just go... I need to have both of these side by side, so I'm going to have one tier 1 and one tier 2. And think about the stats and compare them. So in the right hand, I'm going to have the tier 2. And in the left is the tier 1. So, Raid, Servan. I love the voice acting in this. It's so cheesy, but people are criticizing it. Honestly, it's not bad. I actually like the voice acting in this. Like, I've obviously been listening to it for like a year now or more. But I honestly like it. Okay, so let's compare these two, right and left at the same time. So they both... Wait, they both have 900 ammo? Did my arm...
Rating.
I'm not upgraded, so does my mech affect that? Because I feel like the tier 2 should have the most ammo, yeah? Not the tier 1. Like, if I go into hangar for a moment, mech parts, and we just go to tier 0 and equip myself with a completely bog standard Epiroth build, what happens? Epiroth, bottom, Epiroth, legs, Epiroth. Gotta love that Epiroth build. Right shoulder, something light. Ferguson's? Left shoulder, Ferguson. They're pretty... Oh no, apparently they're not that light. Don't know why I'd be picking the cannons here, but... Oh, apparently the cannons are lighter. I mean, sorry, are heavier, which makes sense. try Seiryu here. Apparently that's heavier. Okay, so it looks like we're going for this kind of setup. Unless I change the legs slightly. Let's try Typhoons instead. Typhoons normally have a higher load. Raid, Servan. Okay, let's go. I adore the cheesy voice acting in this game, says ODST. I could probably make these mechs in Mass Builder if I tried. It'd be really cool to see that. I was actually thinking about that at one point myself. Okay, so something is going on here then. These both start with 720 now.
Understood.
That's weird. I've got to change the stats. Something's going on that I'm not keeping track of. That's a note to ask the dev. I just put that down as parts increase ammo count? What? Right. Let's just check the mech hangar and see what these should have. So, ammo is 720 for the tier 2. 720 for the tier 1. Okay, so that's weird. So why was it 900 previously? That is really strange. Okay. My guess is that one or more of the parts have an increased ammo thanks to stealth. Possibly. Thanks for dropping by again, by the way, Stealth. Okay, let's try this now.
Listen up, Echo 7. The monsters will keep coming.
Which one's gonna overheat
and they will
first?
keep getting stronger. But as that happens, you might find better items.
Okay, they both
Call
kind of
for an
overheat at the
extraction
same
when you've had
time.
enough.
That felt really weird. Okay, so in my opinion, tier 1 needs to overheat a little bit quicker. Just needs to overheat a little bit faster. I may always not chat, but I always watch when you go live to Stealth. Oh, thanks. Right, so now the question is, how much damage do they do? Let's try. Be interesting to see if we could get difficulty level 4 on some of these raids. Be right back again, says ODSD. Gotta get some food. No problem. Comparing each of them together, I need to figure out the significance of, like, the damage, how it feels.
Raiding again, Echo 7? Alright, you know what's up. The monsters will keep coming. They will keep getting stronger. And the items you might find keep
The range, I think, for the
Call for
T1
an
needs to be...
extraction when you want to leave.
I
Don't
don't
be
know,
late
it's
for
hard
the
to tell the
extraction.
range with the
Roger
flamethrowers, because if there was more of a easier way to tell, like the tier 0 being kind of short range, and then tier 1 being mid and the tier 2 being long, that would make more sense. It's we got what was that, 270? Yeah, 270 with that one. 310 there. I'm wondering how much of a difference that will make.
Echo 7, the supply helicopter will soon arrive at the drop
Really
site.
test it out against a larger enemy and see what happens. That's why I picked Phosphorus, but with raids it's kind of awkward. I love the way the tier 2 just deletes stuff, but I mean the tier 1 kind of is at the moment as well. Oh. God damn it, ran out of energy. Hey, ODST, nice to see you again. Just circle straight for this guy and then we'll burn him. I'm trying to see what the range is. Like, it'd be great if there was, or at least I think it'd be a little bit easier if you could have like some marker or something on the hood that kind of gives you an indicator of how far it's going to go, because they both seem pretty long range right now. Can I hit that there? No. If I hit it with the other one? No. Can't tell because the flame lingers in midair. They're going to probably start running at me. Okay, that's pretty long range. Stealth, have you tried any of, or have you had time to try the flamethrowers out like this yet?
Fuck! I'm taking too much damage.
It's hard to tell the range on them. Okay. Try and think of what else we can do here to test these out. I'm just gonna make small notes about the visuals. Okay. Honestly, I think if there was some more visual sort of cues to the range, that'd be great between them, because I think the range is fine. Unlike what is shown in video games and movies, flamethrowers have surprisingly good range. Okay. I don't think it's so much tweaking the range on them. You know, like, I'm ranting and raving here. It's I'm just thinking of stuff that's coming off the top of my head. I'd like there to be some sort of an indicator to tell you the distance on each version, because yeah, it's fine having longer range flamethrowers, but what from what I understand in the way that these work is each one of them has progressively longer range, but I can't visually see the difference between each one right now. It kind of looks as though they all go the same range. I don't know whether you feel the same way about that. It's just how it appears to me. There's no, like, easy thing saying, okay, this is going to go up to here, and now this one, it's going to go a little bit further. It's displayed in the stats, yes, but it doesn't convey like that to the player. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I don't want the range of them nerfed. I understand that. That's totally fine. It's more just the whole thing if I need it to, or at least for me anyway, you know, because I'm a moron. I need it to be conveyed to me so it's easier for me to understand, look, this range is where you're going to get damage now compared to just kind of guessing at it with the weapons. Like, it's easy for me to just turn around here, like for instance, and say like, look, these two weapons, they're both flamethrowers, one's tier 1, one's tier 2, but if I fire both of them like this, I honestly can't tell the difference between the range,
and you will keep encountering better gear. Call for an
because they both look like they go the same distance.
Don't be late for the extraction though.
Like the stats say one thing, but the visuals don't. I don't know what could be done about that either to fix that, unless there's like a small marker on your hood or something showing that. That's why I was running through the idea in my head of saying, well, okay, can we not do something visually to do that? Maybe shorten the particle length so it kind of conveys that sort of thing of, yeah, it's a shorter distance. For those people who don't pay too much attention to the stats or say, okay, you know, stats are there, but whatever, let's just go in and see what happens, and then there's no key difference. Like the whole thing of me mentioning before about the T2 flamethrower having blue flames instead of red, that makes more sense because I'd get an idea of where that is. Or I'd get an idea of, yeah, that's stronger because it's got blue flames. That's an easy way to convey something like that, but range isn't. Normally you'd have something like either a range finder, or you'd have a marker, or maybe like with the fuel rod gun on Halo, you'd have that whole thing about it having a firing arc. It's hard really to think about something like that and be like, oh, okay. The only thing that comes to mind immediately for me is the whole thing from EDF, where you have the two lasers coming out the guns that show you exactly where you can aim, but then maybe having the lasers go like longer or shorter depending on the range of the weapon. Damon says, I was thinking maybe you should have a trail of fire that might be cosmetic but helps identify the range like real flamethrowers. Oh, so instead of just firing like the particles that it is at the moment.
Roger that.
Instead of doing like that, have like something that conveys it a little bit better. Because at the moment I can... Oh crap. That's because I'm pausing and then unpausing. Because at the moment I can see that going that range. But then I use the stronger version and it looks like it goes the same distance. It might just be because the stats are slightly, you know, there isn't enough difference between the stats. There might only be like 20 points of range between both of them, but there seems to be no difference. Like if this tier 2 one is supposed to be the best one, then why is it the similar range visually to the weaker one? You know, that's what I'm getting at right now. Because on screen there, that both looks like the same flamethrower to me. Blue flames might be the best way. Yeah, the blue flames I'm definitely going to suggest for the tier 2 as a way of telling the difference between them. But then you got the whole thing of the tier 1 and the tier 0 are still going to be red flame. So it's a case of making sure that the range is different and significant, you know. Stealth says I'm a hop on Mecha Knights to take a look. Yeah, if you figure out anything, just leave it in the testing branch on Discord. You know, maybe a button that shows a visual indicator, or how some games do, having the distance displayed on the weapon box, which turns red when out of range. Potentially, so like when you hover over a target, it turns different or whatever. The thing is, like, we already have... You could technically say you already have a rangefinder thing when you hit an enemy, because when you hit one, it comes up and says, oh, you've hit it, you've done this much damage. Where is it? But visually, because of the way the flamethrower works, it's hard to tell the damage. Not hard to tell the damage, hard to tell the range. My brain is all over the place at the moment. I may be waffling on. I apologize for that. Sometimes I just think out loud. Like there, that's two of the same weapon. The only reason I can tell if I'm in range of something is because I'm hitting it and it says hit, and then registers the damage at the side. Crosshair kind of stays the same. It'd be good having maybe an additional thing for the flamethrower for the crosshair. The immediate thing I'm thinking of is have something similar to like the Halo style setup, where you have maybe something that either changes the crosshair, so when you change the flamethrower it goes to like a circle or whatever, and then doing the whole thing of showing you, you know, like when you hover over an enemy it goes red or whatever when it's in range. The only problem is whether that would work or not, and how easy it would be to implement. Because the immediate easy fix, for me at least, would be make the visuals match the stats. So for instance, shorter range equals shorter distance the fire travels in game. Longer range, longer distance the fire travels. That is the most easiest one. I know a lot of people will say, you know, like, oh, but flamethrowers are long range in real life. Yeah, that's fine. But to convey that easily to a player so that they understand, I think that's the best option. Even though it might not match, you know, what goes on in real life. I think that's the easiest option to really convey that and not be sat there trying to think of extra things that might be a lot more work than what's needed for this. I don't mean when you were looking at enemies, but that distance is a measure from the weapon to the surface enemy. However, yeah, the issue comes from the difficulty of implementation. Yeah, because I don't want these fixes to be more difficult to implement. The idea being they should be easy. You know, the dev should literally be able to just tweak a couple of values here and there, and it'd be easy for them. Because the one thing you don't want to be doing is thinking up of solutions that may then possibly break the game. Because a lot of game design towards the end is normally balancing what works with how easy it is to implement new fixes and things, because you risk breaking quite a lot of what's already there if you change one bit of code and you don't know what the knock-on effect is. What I'll do is, I'll call the test session there for now, because we've been going at like an hour and 30 minutes or something. I'll go and look at passing on these notes, and for anyone that's got any more of, you know, like their own opinions, or they want to throw in some ideas or whatever, please do it on the Mecha Knights Discord. You know. So yeah, I'm going to get going. I'm going to have a little bit of a break from testing. I'll see you guys on the next one, and it has been very fun talking to you all again and getting some ideas for this. I hope to see you around. So until then, thank you very much for sticking with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!